Hey skis, so I know that horizontal video was really complicated. So let's look at just understanding zones simplified and understanding which areas are the most important to cut in. So if we look over here, we could see that we have our horizontal stack, 1, 2, 3, 4. And like I said before, we could imagine that they're in each a lane. So there's lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, and lane 4. But it could also be divided as in and deep. So, what one of the things that we want to do when we are cutting using a horizontal, especially when they're playing something like a zone on us, is we want to travel to every zone. So if we look at, let's go with player number 1. So player number 1 starts off in zone 1 or lane 1 in. So they're in lane 1. Then they might go deep lane 1. And then they might go lane 3 in. Then they might clear out lane 2 in, set up, go deep lane 3, go in lane 3, go in lane 4, go deep lane 4, go deep lane 1, go in lane 1, go deep lane 2, go in lane 3, go deep lane 4, go deep lane 3, go in lane 4. Which seems like a bunch of random hogwash that doesn't mean anything. And if you look at this route is impossible to decipher, which is exactly what we want to do when we're versing a zone in which we just want to travel the entire field. We want to hit every single zone. We're running to every single zone, confusing defenders, trying to pull defenders away, trying to find open space, and just going everywhere. Overloading deep, overloading open, break, and we're just moving around. One nuance is that there's usually this middle part of the field that lacks attention. Usually we look at the in cuts and the deep cuts, but occasionally we could stand in the middle, and if no one is on us, maybe the handler will see us and hit us. But that's only if there is no one on us at all. So, what are the most important areas that we cut? So, when it comes to the most important areas that are cutting, usually it is over here in lane 3 in, lane 3 deep, lane 4 in, lane 4 deep, lane 2 in, and then lane 2-ish, 1-ish deep. So when the frisbee's in the middle, those are the most likely places to get the frisbee. And so we want to make sure that we are cutting to those spots. In rotation 1 of our play, you could see that number 3 leaves the important area to go to another one, while number 2 attacks that open area that number 3 left. Meanwhile, number 1 and number 4 are going to attack other areas. Number 4 is attacking the 4th most dangerous area, and number 1 is attacking the 6th most dangerous area to be threats. But we see number 2 attacking the most important spot, and number 3 attacking the 5th most important spot. And then going off of that, we see that number 4 attacks the most important part. Number 2 attacks the 5th most, And then we see 3 and 1 setting up rather than attacking a spot. And then they attack a spot after they're set up. So 1 attacks the second most important, 3 attacks the most important, 4 attacks the fifth most important, and 2 sets up. So we usually want to look at certain areas to get the frisbee, and very occasionally we could also get it in the middle if we're being poached off of. If we're on the sideline, so if we're on the sideline like this, what are the important areas? So once again, lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4, in and deep. The most important areas to attack is over here, lane 4 in, lane 4 deep, lane 3 in, lane 3 deep, and occasionally we could throw it up here in this lane 1-ish, lane 2-ish deep area. So we want to be attacking those areas. Very similar to before, we have that triangle motion that instead of 2 and 3 do, now it's 3 and 4. And then you could see how they set up attacking these lanes that we created. And there's a lot of different setups and paths that we could do. So that's horizontal, the basic concept of it, as simplified as I could possibly do. Hopefully that helps, and we'll keep working on our horizontal. Keep it up, Huskies.